Welcome to a new chapter of the comment section, and I am your new host, Reagan Conrad.
The Daily Wire needs to stop trying to convince me that Brett Cooper left on her own, because the more they try, the less I believe them. This is Hot Takes.
I don't like Chick-fil-A.
Taylor Swift is overrated.
If you drive a pickup truck for reasons that are other than employment related, I don't like you.
Listen to your friends who care about astrology.
Escape rooms are fun.
What is your hot take?
Drop a hot take.
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 Welcome back to Hot Takes. I'm your host, Ian Isaiah. Reagan Conrad, the replacement for Brett Cooper. So I guess this is a part 2 on the Brett Cooper episode that I said I would do if I got any more information. Well, now we have it. Mostly in the form of Reagan posting her first video. So instead of me yapping on about it, let's just get right into it. And I guess technically this isn't her first video, but her first one after the channel name has been changed to her. Sorry if this is painful to watch.
Welcome to a new chapter of the comment section, and I am your new host, Reagan Conrad.
And the very first thing we have to talk about before we even go any further, what is this set? Like, the very first time I saw this, I was like, this is hard to watch for me because of the set. It's so beige. Like, I'm not even kidding. Look at the entirety of the set. Everything is beige. I honestly don't think this helped Reagan at all because it's still Brett's set, just with different colors, different pictures, and everything is beige. Part of me feels like this is a slap in the face to Brett because she talked for so long about the beige epidemic and how much she hates it, everything being grayish and all of that. And so this design just feels like a slap in the face. But that's not the reason it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch because I actually said this on my Instagram story a couple days ago. It's like a post-apocalyptic version of Brett's set, where everything has lost its color. I mean, the only real spot of color is the one green lamp that's left behind, and that was on Brett's set, but even here, that looks like a sickly green. Like, everything just looks sick. Like, if I were watching a movie, Brett's set looks like all the happy parts. Reagan's set looks like all the parts where something bad's about to happen. like, the colors start to go like warm, but not like a good warm. They almost go green and like a sickly, like beige green. You know what I mean? But it's like the whole set became sepia tones. Anyway, I just had to get that out of the way because immediately upon seeing this, it was hard to watch for me, not even because Reagan was the one in the seat, but because of the set. It's hard for me to watch Reagan because this set is not appealing to look at. And again, it's so strange because Brett's set is exactly the same, but it had so much color. It had purples and yellows and reds and greens. And Reagan's entire set, again, except for that one lamp, it's all beige. It's just so hard to watch. Anyway, enough of me ranting about the set colors. Let's keep going.
Now, some of you are probably asking, who is this chick? Where is Brett? What is going on? And those are all very valid questions. So before we get into today's episode, I want to just recap a few things with you all. Now, many of you have known me as producer Reagan. I've been working on this show for almost 3 years now. I started with Daily Wire fresh out of college with a journalism degree and a resume full of social media work. And prior to applying here, I was listening to Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles literally every day because they were the voices online echoing my thoughts and my values and my beliefs. So I decided to apply to the Daily Wire. And I got a job and I moved across the country from Pennsylvania to Nashville, and I've been here ever since. Now, funnily enough, my first job at this company was actually posting the Facebook videos for this brand new show called The Comment Section. And from there, I fell in love with this show and with this team. And I basically became an associate producer for a time, and then I became the producer. And even recently, you've probably seen me guest hosting on Fridays. So while I may feel like a stranger to most of you watching this video, I've been behind the scenes for years getting to know all of you. Now, over the last few weeks, the internet, as we so often cover on the show, has been the internet. And the comment sections have certainly been comment sectioning away. I mean, it's literally part of my job to read your comments, and so I know what's being said. And the one thing that is rightfully concerning many of you is the thought that Brett may have been forced out. I can assure you that that is not the case, and it is simply untrue. I mean, as Brett said herself in her final episode, and I would highly encourage every single one of you who has not yet seen that video to go watch that video and also go watch and support and love on anything that Brett does coming up in the future, because I know that it will be amazing. It was Brett's decision to leave the show and move on to a new adventure, which she is very excited about, and all of you should be very excited for what's to come.
I have to pause there because that part right there, that is the part I'm talking about. Daily Wire, if you're trying to convince me that Brett left on her own, talking about it like this.
I assure you that she left on her own. Brett even said so herself in her final video.
We all know how this works, Daily Wire. You have to approve it before she can post it. So, of course, you get the final say on what she actually said in that last episode. And it's all just a PR move. Whether she left on her own terms or not, you would still want her to say something like that because you don't want it to seem like she left for a bad reason. And this is part of the problem with your NDAs. Here's the thing, guys. Again, Brett is an actress. You can argue for yourself whether she's a good actress or not so good. Reagan is not. And it's very easy to read between the lines with Reagan. You can see how scripted this is. Brett's video, you could tell it was scripted because she wanted you to see that it was scripted. Like I said in my original video, she was pissed. She wanted you to see that she was pissed. And she was emotional, and obviously, yeah, a job that she's worked for 3 years and worked so hard to build up 4.5 million subscribers. Yeah, of course she'd be upset leaving that job. But I feel like she absolutely wanted to come off as, I am not happy about this decision when she was reading the rest of that script. Again, Reagan, not so good of an actress. When she says that, it doesn't come off as natural. It's not like she said, well, I see the rumors and I know you all might be upset, but I'm telling you myself, Brett and I are still good friends, and she left on her own terms. And I'm not saying that's even the best way to say that. I literally just came up with that in like 10 seconds, but already that sounded more convincing than the way Reagan said it.
But I assure you that she left on her own terms.
Reagan, try again. This is not good acting. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be too mean to Reagan, but also she did this to herself. Let's keep going.
And in saying all of that, it is an enormous honor for me, truly beyond my wildest dreams and anything that I could have ever hoped for, to have been given the honor to carry on this show. I care about this show so much too, and so I am so excited to keep this show moving forward. All that to say that I have learned so much from Brett over these last 3 years. Most profoundly though, she taught me how to be fearless. Brett sat at a desk and looked into these cameras and dared to speak truth and common sense that so many people were afraid to touch. Way before it was cool. Way before there were millions of you guys out there tuning in every day to help make her voice even louder. Brett was daring enough to step out there and be bold and courageous. And that helped so many of us be bold and courageous too. And that is just one piece of the impact that she's had on me so far in our lives. And I'm sure that you all have your own takeaways of the impact that she's had on your lives. And so I would encourage you to share that with her and also in this comment section. I love her dearly, and we will all really miss working alongside of her.
You love her so dearly that she unfollowed you on Instagram. And yes, that's the next piece of information I'd like to share with everybody. It is now official. Brett Cooper has unfollowed Reagan immediately after this first episode came out. I mean, if there wasn't a more telltale sign, how do you go from bridesmaid to frenemy in a matter of, what, 9 months? Because she got married in March, right? And so it's very telling of exactly what's going on, Reagan, when your best friend unfollows you. Also, there's one other piece of information I just want to point out. This also came up on Brett Cooper's story a couple days ago. If you weren't aware, over the weekend she flew with her husband to Quebec just to get away, and he wanted to take her to Canada because she said she'd always wanted to go. So she posted this on her story a couple days ago. Just landed back in Nashville, had the best time in Montreal and Quebec City, so Christmassy and a great way to decompress and reset. Alex planned this trip back in October, but coincidentally ended up being perfect timing, LOL. Guys, if this ain't Brett's way of telling us something without telling us something, I don't know what is. And then the very next slide says, but now we are back and we'll hit the ground running faster than this sled Alex took me on, which is cute. But again, the two pieces together, a great way to decompress and reset, coincidentally ended up being perfect timing. Brett got fired, guys. That's the only way you can say. Why else would you need to decompress? If you left amicably, you would not need to decompress. What is there to decompress from? So yeah, as soon as I saw that, and then around the same time she unfollowed Reagan. That tells you all you need to know, folks. And as people pointed out in the previous video, there was also a rumor, which I don't have any proof of. There was a rumor that people were commenting on her TikTok saying if she wasn't allowed to say stuff, and that if there was other stuff happening behind the scenes that she couldn't talk about, to wear blue in her final episode, and she did. So guys, I honestly think at this point, this is all you need to let you know that she's trying to tell us stuff without actually technically telling us stuff. So I just had to point that out because it doesn't make any sense unless there was other drama happening behind the scenes at the Daily Wire. But like this whole situation, Reagan, if you're trying to convince people that Brett left on her own, you're not doing a very good job. You're just not. Instead, choosing to talk about it more doesn't make it actually seem genuine. It just seems like Daily Wire is trying to do damage control, and that's a problem. Because like I said, not only does it not come off as authentic and genuine, you should have just left it as it is. Because the more you talk about it, the more people are going, okay, what are you trying to cover up here? Because you're trying to convince us of something. I mean, this is what people who lie do. I worked at a car dealership for a certain amount of time, and in order to be good in that business, you have to lie a lot. I see what these people do. They have to keep repeating things over and over again. You have to keep saying it to try to convince people that it's true. And so as somebody who knows exactly what that looks like, I am not falling for it, Daily Wire. I am not falling for it, Reagan, because I see right through the lies. You had beef with Brett over something. I think it's related to Candace somehow, because like I said in my previous episode as well, she was best buds with Candace when she worked at the Daily Wire together. She was best buds with Candace as soon as she was let go. But that in-between space of 8 months, it seemed like she couldn't talk to Candace at all, at least not publicly. So what's going on there, Daily Wire? You trying to suppress people from talking to their best friends? That's a problem. But like I said, I'm not falling for the lies, and I'm providing this information because I don't want you to fall for the lies either. This is all just a PR move. And especially from someone who claims she's a Christian. I mean, as soon as Reagan took over the comments section, she posted a whole bunch of Christian stuff in her bio, which I've never seen before. And again, that doesn't sit right with me because, it feels like another move to try to say like, oh, well, she would never lie because she's a Christian. Or it's a ploy from the Daily Wire to try to make Christians look bad. And some people might say that's a ridiculous thing. Well, Ben Shapiro still works at that company. And what was his whole beef with Candace back in March? Because Candace said Christ is king. Shall I remind you of that whole situation? And I wish I could talk more about that, but unfortunately, if I do, the overlords here will take my video down because they have before. Yes, even a little old channel like me. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, because that's what it seems like they're trying to do. Something along those lines. Now, enough about all of that. Let's get into some of these comments. I know a lot of other people have already done so, but I still want to cover a few of them. Someone said, the show finally lives up to the name because without Brett, all I am doing is looking at the comment section and not the video. I actually did watch the full video, just the one, because I wanted to see what it was like, and it's just, like I said, one, it's hard for me to look at because the colors are just so ugly. Like they are. I don't know who picked this theme, but Reagan, if you did that, I know exactly why you picked those colors. But for most people, I'm sure that's the case. That video has like 160 some thousand views right now, but I believe it because there were lots and lots and lots of comments in the comment section. Someone else said, Reagan, the best thing that you can do for the show is to be yourself and not try to be Brett. Brett is really awesome at being Brett. Nobody else needs to be Brett. You need to be Reagan. Give us Reagan and let us fall in love with your style like we did hers. To the people who are blind to everything else that's going on right now, yes, I do agree with that. And that's another point I'd like to make. It would seem at this point that the only people who refuse to believe the truth about this situation either are mega fans of the Daily Wire and like the blinders are off because they're like, no, Daily Wire could do no wrong. I can't believe it. Wake up, people. This is real. This is happening. This is what's happening. I'm sorry. I know you like to live in this bubble to think that conservatives are perfect, but it's not true. Conservatives have their problems too, and the Daily Wire seems to be a big one. Either they're in that group or they work for the Daily Wire and they're trying to convince you that there's nothing wrong. I mean, like, I just don't know. There's so much evidence here. And the other thing people will pull is, whoa, well, there's no official statement from Daily Wire or Brett saying so it must not be true. You're not going to get that, folks, one way or the other, because of the NDAs. And because the Daily Wire would never admit that they're wrong. You would think that they would at least try to be honest, but no, that's not gonna happen. Sorry. That's just not how it works, unfortunately. So what you have to do instead is look at the whole pool of evidence that everyone has collectively gathered. There is so much out there on this situation, and nothing lines up with, oh, well, Brett just left and everything's on good terms. Nothing. So stop trying to tell yourself that it does, for whatever reason. And like, I apologize for that whole rant, but I just can't believe that the evidence is right in front of these people's faces and they refuse to look at it. They refuse to accept it as the truth. And that bothers me when it's right in front of your face. This is a big point that I also want to point out. Again, without all of the evidence, you can just look at this one thing right here that this commenter mentioned. Reagan, what you said was really sweet about Brett, but Brett seemed really off on her goodbye video. If what you are saying is true, the vibes would match. They don't. We're not stupid. I love the format of the show and I think you'll do great. Daily Wire has put you in a terrible position and it seems like you lost a friendship for it. And here's the thing, folks. Yes, I think she's right about the vibes would match. That, you know, if they were leaving on good terms, Brett would have said that and Reagan would have said that, and it would have, yeah, it doesn't line up, because Brett was really upset in that last video. And again, she never said my friend Reagan or anything like that, or go support Reagan. She just said,
my producer Reagan is taking over as host of the comment section, and I wish her and the Daily Wire all the best.
That's all she said about Reagan. Now, Reagan, of course, is saying, go support, do this, do that. But again, it feels like damage control because it doesn't line up. Because like people said about Brett's video, if it was true that they left on good terms, she would have said stuff supporting Reagan. And so now I think Daily Wire saw comments like that and they were like, quick, let's get this script out to seem like we're still supporting Brett.
Can you come up with something else? Can you come up with something else?
That's what it feels like. But beyond that, I really want to look at the second part of this comment again. I love the format of the show and I think you'll do great. Daily Wire has put you in a terrible position and it seems like you lost a friendship for it. Here's the thing, folks. Reagan can leave at any time. She is not trapped in this job. She does not have to do this. And if the Daily Wire somehow tried to set up her contract to make it sound like they would threaten legal action if she tries to leave, that would be so wrong and highly illegal. And like, if this is truly the case, Reagan, it's not too late to get out. It is not too late whatsoever. But for your sake, get out now before you make it look even worse. Because if this truly is the case, if you still wanted to be buddies with Brett, which it doesn't seem like it seems like you chose your job over your friend, you would get out. Or you would have left with Brett, or said, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. But no, you chose the job instead. And like this person said in the replies to that comment, yes, but she also made her bed. Exactly. She shouldn't have pushed out her friend, and instead, she should have said she wanted her own separate show. Something like that, really. That's all it needed to be. But again, Reagan, all of the evidence is there. You pushed your best friend out. You pushed her right out the door and said, I'm taking over now. And that to me is just so sick. Hey guys, Editing Ian here. I do want to add a few points really quick. Firstly, I don't hate Reagan for this, and nobody should hate Reagan for this. And it's not that I want to dislike her either. I want to like Reagan. I want to like her and I want her to do well on the show. But the problem is, considering the circumstances, it just does not look good for her. I also want to make it clear that there are absolutely some things that should not be said to Reagan. There are some things that she does not deserve people to say. Obviously, it's one thing to call out the situation and leave that in her comment section, but things people should not be saying are that she deserves to be doxxed, that she deserves to be threatened, that she deserves to be unalived. None of those things are helpful, and none of those things are things that we should be wishing upon anybody. So guys, I understand that you're frustrated at this situation, as am I, but I just want to remind you that keep it respectful, and please don't leave anything threatening or doxing or anything like that to Reagan. She does not deserve anything like that. Also, people have pointed out that she went with her married name, Reagan Rohrbach, before she officially took over the channel, but now that she's taken over the channel, she goes by her maiden name, Reagan Conrad. I don't know if this piece of information means anything, but I'll leave it up to you to decide if there's something else going on behind the scenes regarding her last name. And like I said, you could redeem yourself. You could get out of this situation right now, but the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get, Reagan, because this is just It's not good. And Daily Wire, you need to stop trying to do this damage control. Just admit the truth. Admit that you pushed her out and try to save yourselves while you still can. Because again, the longer you wait to do that and the more you lie and lie and lie about it, the worse it's going to get for you as well. Because the more lies you try to spin, there goes your company. Bye-bye, Daily Wire.
Bye, Felicia.
And on that note, I think it's time to close out this episode. Try to leave this behind unless some other detail comes up somewhere. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy watching this video, please like and subscribe. A thumbs up and a subs up is the way to go to keep this channel growing. And of course, if you'd like to follow me on my other forms of content, you can do so on TikTok, Instagram, and Clapper at Ian Talks Hot Takes for my short form content, and on X at I Talks Hot Takes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.